Yes, and at first I would like to thank you for this opportunity to share our experiences related to AI and everything related to that management, how to manage different things related to AI and so on. Okay, so my topic is our digitalization, and especially from the AI perspective. And it's not fully technical. I have also this kind of management point of view because, let's say, our operational environment it's quite challenging. Let's see. I have basically three different major topics in my presentation. The first one is our digitalization, in general, our digitalization program, and then I also would like to motivate why AI is really important part of this digitalization. Then I will go to our operational environment and what kind of requirements our operational environment set for digitalization and AI in especially. So, and finally, we have actually need and we have requirements. How we will meet these requirements? And let's say really brief introduction to our company. So we are living really interesting times in our company because first of all, it's the oldest publicly listed company in the world, and it has a lot of this kind of heritage, how to do things there, and now we are transforming from this kind of traditional paper and the board manufacturing to renewables material company. And we really believe that everything that we can today made of fossil-based materials, tomorrow we can make this from a tree. Yes, so our product portfolio, it's pretty broad, and we are divided in 5 main operational divisions. We are doing this kind of traditional paper manufacturing, then packaging solutions, more tailored packaging solutions for specific customers, and wood products like building elements made of wood, and then biomaterials. And from digitalization perspective, it's challenging because the needs from these different parts of the company, different units, they are very different. This paper and the board manufacturing, they are really optimization intensive things, how to actually optimize production, streamline things, so on. But then going to this kind of tailored packaging solutions and especially biomaterials, it's a really R&D intensive. There's a material research, chemistry laboratories, so on. So the needs for the digitalization are really different in different parts of the company. Yes, and how we tackle this challenge is that we have established this kind of group level digitalization unit. It's not really big one, only 20 people, quite senior people, and it's head by our Chief Digitalization Officer. And all of these people in this digitalization unit, they have their own responsibility areas. I'm responsible of this AI-related things. Then we have this kind of software robotics people there, service designers, data scientists, so on. And what we are doing there is actually the major things that we are developing our capabilities, this kind of company level capabilities in these responsibility areas. We are also doing some internal projects, but our major operational instrument is a Digitalisation Fund. So a few times per year, we open kind of internal call for proposals where everybody in our company are invited to propose new digitalization projects. And we have got a lot of these proposals. Usually they are pretty early stage proposals, like some concepts or proof of concepts. And then we select some of these, fund these established projects, and decide that whether we can do this internally, or as in most of cases, we connect a vendor to each project. So in this case, our digitalization unit then acts as a technical steering, even if there's a vendor related to things. And we have now run this process almost 3 years, and as you can see, we have already finalized quite many projects. And of course, when this process come in the digitalization pipeline as this kind of early stage proposals, like a proof of concept, then some of these are successful and go forward in the pipeline, and there's a piloting and the implementation phases, and then finally the rollout. And you can imagine that if we have this kind of worldwide rollout, for example, we want to have some AI service available in all of our mills, but it's a quite huge job, and still I'm pretty proud that we have managed to do a few of these during these 3 years, and say that you see actually this a few examples there and about this pipeline. There's a few examples. So first of all the time we get more and more these automatized processes there every day. Then one really interesting example from the AI point of view is drones. We are heavily using drones, tracking forests, counting trees, classifying trees, diseases related to trees, and so on, and these are really into operational use already. Okay, and we have this kind of management platform for containing all the information related to this digitalization projects, and for this presentation I extracted some keywords and technologies that are used in the projects. You won't see AI as a separate individual technology there. It's more like an umbrella, and I have highlighted as with red color this related things. So advanced analytics in all its forms, it's the most common keyword there. Machine learning, it's also really common. Image recognition, perhaps it's the nature of our business that these images are really important. Cameras installed on the production lines, detecting anomalies, things like that. So there's a lot of image recognition related things. And let's go to these requirements set by our operational environment. The first one is this heterogeneous requirements. I already told this that the needs are really different in different parts of the company. Then the second one is high data volumes. They are high, but considering the size of the company, they are not actually extremely high. Most of the data is coming from our production lines. Currently it's about 200 terabytes per year, but we are only collecting half of the tax available there, so I can estimate that in a few years it will double. Then we have also, as any company, we have this transactional data related to our customers, products, invoices, orders, so on. But because we are doing the business to business, it's actually pretty moderate, only 50 terabytes per year. One thing that is related, especially true for this production line data, is data quality issues. And I would say that from the AI perspective, the most crucial challenge there is that the change in the properties of the data are changing. Its statistical properties are changing because there is this kind of natural aging of the sensors, for example. Then some unexpected changes there, some things got broken in the production lines, and somebody changed the module, and we don't get any information on these kind of changes, so we should be able to detect these automatically. And then the last one is not technical, but this kind of more organizational thing, that we are operating in 30 countries, and the last time I went through this vendor list, we have over 400 vendors, service providers, software developers, integrators, so on. And especially when we are talking about the relatively new things like AI, they all have a little bit different ways to do things, a little bit different tools, pipelines, so on. How to actually manage this and to orchestrate the whole world of these projects. It's a challenge. And just a few words, this kind of evolution of the digital services. A couple of years ago, it used to be like on the left-hand side, so that we have our legacy systems, and when we go to the mills and the production lines, there's different vendors. They had their own clouds, so they were collecting data and to their own cloud and providing services to us. So actually they own the data from our production lines. Nowadays the system is a little bit different. We have our own cloud environment. We are doing the data collection, and most of the service providers, they are providing services to our cloud environment. So we own the data. But then we would like to be even more advanced, so that from the data perspective, we are transferring data from our legacy systems to our cloud environment, so that it's available for new digital applications, so we can easily have access to data. Other thing is that it is related to AI. Of course, there's a lot of definitions of AI, and especially when we go to AI-based services, how we define it. But one that is relevant for us is that they are any digital services that have one or more models. And these models are usually they are statistical models, regression classification models, they can be neural networks, so on. But basically, any digital service that utilizes models, they are AI-based services, and we would like all that these models are separate services in our cloud environment. And why we would like it to be in this way? One thing is that the visibility to AI-based services. I will come to this later, more detailed. But then this is that it's easy and a flexible way to maintain and update the models. So usual cases that when we have a new data available or models get outdated, we have to only update these models. We don't have to touch at all the business logic or service logic. And then is the reusability of the models. Consider, for example, this kind of market forecasting models as an example that in our case that is really important is pulp prices in different market areas like in Europe, in Asia, that huge effect almost to everything we do, our treasure, sales and operational planning, so on. And it would be nice that if we have just one pulp price prediction model that other services can utilize. And one definition that this kind of model that is a mathematical object, and the web API, we have an AI component. And then going to the visibility, it's this is something that is really closely related to quite hot topic currently. It's the AI ethics. I would say that it's AI ethics in practice. So that AI-based services in our company, they are like any digital services in a way that they have an owner, people or group of people that are responsible of the service. And when they have this kind of responsibility, we should be able to provide also tools to handle these things. For example, that if the service is not working anymore as it should, what to do and how to observe that this is the case. The first thing is that we should be able to list or know that what AI-based services we have and what AI components these services have. It's the first thing. If you have to do something, you should know that what you have. Then other thing is this visibility to the data that is going into these services. Remember this one challenge there that it's quite crucial challenge for us that the data is changing, statistical properties of the data are changing, aging of the sensors, so on, and we should be able to detect this. Then other thing is the visibility, the performance of the models, so that if the performance drops, we should be able to do some correcting thing, like raise some flag that the owner of the system can then retrain the model, develop it further, so on. The last thing is something that you probably won't have to consider at all in the smaller companies, but it's the cost tracking. So if we have these AI components that several digital services utilize, for example, these market forecast models, how to actually track these costs. Because we have several operational units with their own budget. People soon get really interested at who is using and how to allocate costs. And how we have approached these things, we have developed this reference architecture called Stora Enso AI platform. It's basically reference architecture, but it also has software libraries and the services that make it easier to develop services that comply with the architecture. So the main thing there is the AI component registry. So we have only one in our company in production use. It contains all the AI components, these models with the proper metadata, considering versions, who is using the models, what services are using the models, statistical properties or input data, performance of the models on. And then we can, when we have this in the registry, we can provide these as a web services in different environment, like in our cloud environment or locally at mills. It's a fully automatic thing. And then there's this said that we have only one of these, but then the other major block is service logic that is separate for each service. It has a business logic, internal data, and the connection to data, our data platform where all the data is available. And then finally we have a presentation layer. In our case, most of the time it contains these famous applications like a Power BI, Excel, but also the custom-made web UIs. So I have almost used my time, so I will summarize by some key takeaways. So first takeaway is that to implement a systematic approach for AI-based service development, then especially if you have a really challenging environment, you at least know what is happening there and you can guide the process so that you have a then end result you actually want. Then provide a company-wide catalog to AI-based services so that you know what you have. Perhaps in the near future there is even some auditing processes, and then you have to know what you have and how they perform. Then separate AI components and service logics. I hope that I was able to convince you that you should do that. And then also make a reference architecture for AI-based services. Especially if you have a lot of vendors, you should guide them how to build things that they are compatible with your organization. Thank you.